to go to Universal if they had like feral dogs. Because like Disney has feral cats that are beautiful. Those cats are beautiful. Have you seen their cats?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those things.
And they're
long
super
hair,
sweet.
beautiful cats walking around in California Adventure.
They're intentional too. It's to keep the mice out.
Yeah. So
It ruins the experience.
they should have like
mouse.
Hollywood
Hollywood
hounds.
Oh yeah. Edit that out. No, edit that out. They're gonna steal that.
Shit.
Yeah.
They already have a pets show, which is one of my
Chris already
favorites.
did it. Welcome to KAWmedy Krow Podcast, where we put the Ka in comedy.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the KAWmedy Krow Podcast, episode 25, with our guest, George Ferido. Welcome to the show.
Aloha. What's up?
Before we get started, I have to say thank you to our 2024 Comedy Fest sponsors, Cloud Electric, Guadalajara, Mexican Cantina, and Gamel Pest Control, and Party Supplies is another one. We appreciate you. We put the Ka in comedy. And for all of our listeners and watchers, if you find any of the stuff that we use inspiring and you want to put on your own podcast or gaming channel, check the description below. We've got lots of links that you can help us out by purchasing through any of those links on Amazon with all the equipment that we use. So that's a new thing that we've added to the description. I'm your host, Christopher Key Tyler, CKT, and the co-host and wonderful love of my life, Amy Cork, everybody.
I love how every single time you stutter, but I know you mean it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it.
I feel your stutter.
Thank you. Amy's the only one that makes me stutter. So, I don't have a stutter, but if I did, it's because of true love. Anyways, George Ferido, we've had quite the journey getting you on the podcast due to all kinds of
managers and me shooting a movie and all its craziness. I'm glad to finally get here.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you. You are a fantastic. I have to say, I'm a big fan of your work from online to stand up.
Thank you. What do I do?
The BuddyCast, but. You're a wonderful host on the BuddyCast. You've put in many years. You produce shows through the IE and abroad with the Buddy system. You've created a community that comics feel comfortable coming to your shows, and I'm one of them, and I've always just been a big fan. But I also have to have a huge shout out to you for an appreciation for your ability to edit on your layering ability on the podcast and the flyers. Your flyers are so cool. You raise the bar, and I just want to say thank you for. I just hope you get enough recognition because
none of those feel deserved.
No, you do such a good job, man. Seriously, it inspires. Like I'm like, oh man.
I mean, the bar's not high for flyers in general. We see plenty that are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that if the flyer is the first thing you see of a show, it should at least just be neat.
Yeah.
And legible, and sometimes that's iffy.
Yeah, there's a Facebook group that I'm in called what is it?
We make flyers on Facebook.
Flyers?
No, Bad Comedy Flyers group.
Check it out on Facebook.
Shit!
Bad Comedy
I didn't know
Flyers.
that.
My goal in comedy is just to never end up on one of those.
You never will. At the rate,
at the
rate you're moving, like those flyers you make are.
I mean, to my credit,
sick.
I don't have any formal training. It is a combination. It is primarily just in Canva. I'm not using anything different than anyone else is. I have like Adobe stuff, but I use it rarely. Only if there's something like specific that I need that I can't find somewhere else. But I'm just compiling. I'm just laying it. It's like my comedy. It's just like I'm just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything special. So I appreciate the compliment, but it's like I'm not. I think I'm just putting in more time than regular people.
The love that you put in. It shows.
It reflects.
It reflects.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's good to know. That's all. The other thing is I enjoy it.
good.
that's different.
Yeah, I enjoy the graphic design. I
Yeah.
enjoy like moving letters around. I used to do graffiti in high school, so like that visual math of like fitting letters in a space and having
the feng
colors
shui.
pop.
That
Yeah,
feng
definitely,
shui
definitely. There's
feel.
sometimes it's I like to call it elevated design when you're kind of anticipating which way people are going to read it. You know, because you read it and you're
Right.
like, where is the show?
That's like design 101.
What time am I doing it? You know, like
The flow of
absolutely.
the entire, where are you going to look first?
Yeah.
Where is it second, third, ending? Like,
Right.
and how that
the
comes
hierarchy of like visual items and stuff. Yeah.
together. 100%.
Do you ever, when you finish a flyer, like, this is my new masterpiece?
No,
No?
honestly, like a lot of times, especially if they're like buddy system flyers, I'll send it to Will. I'm like, does this look fucking dumb? like
Right.
exactly like that. And then a lot of times he'll give me notes because at that point, I've spent too much time looking at it, and I do need fresh eyes on it.
Yeah.
It's like, what doesn't seem in place? Because I'm going dumb right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, I've never really felt like it was a masterpiece, but I kind of know when it's organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes things will pop, like I'll be at the end and I'm like, damn, I mean that's cool.
Right.
Like, that's rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like murdering on stage. That's rare.
Right.
I don't, whoever says they murder every night, you're a liar.
Yeah. I've
No.
never. Have you heard people say that before?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
that sounds like a lot of people.
Yes. Too many.
Wow.
Too many. Or like, bro, I killed it last night. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that can't come from you. Somebody else has to tell me that you killed it. You can't be
Yeah.
like, I murdered yesterday.
Right.
It's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the only like recently though I heard the craziest thing Jim Gaffigan was on an interview recently and he said that he has never not sold out a show. I thought that was the craziest thing to hear out of a comic's mouth. I was like, that's the boldest statement I've ever heard. That's I mean,
I feel like he can say that, but
uh-huh.
I mean,
You do have to jump
Look.
through a few hoops for that, I think.
I would think so. But
You know?
yeah.
it is Jim Gaffigan.
Right.
But when did he not sell? You know, there has to be a
Yeah,
time
yeah.
in
Yeah.
his career. It may have been freaking 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like to say I've never not sold out. I'm like, wow.
I don't think it's impossible though. I think maybe the barometer for I've never not sold out is what he means is like my shows that I've headlined that I am the feature have never not sold out. But he's
Yeah.
not including the Tuesday night at a bar that he was on the flyer for that he showed up to do $25. You know, he's
Right.
not including that because that
Yeah.
wasn't his show.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the comparison of like when people say, oh, yeah, I murdered last night. I killed it. And you're like, well, I mean, let's hear about like the level. There's so many different levels. Like club.
Right.
Was it a club? Was it a bar? Was it a laundromat?
I think that's a pretty loose term
Yeah.
that really, really should be toned down.
I agree. You have to earn those murders, and if they happen all the time, you're not murdering. Then your
Right.
bar has to be raised,
Right.
and then
100%.
you should say I did well, and then I did not murder because now you've elevated your game.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think it's having like I don't want to say it's like a respect for yourself, but in a way it is allowing yourself to grow
Right.
instead of just saying like, oh, I murdered every night. Well, okay.
Looking at yourself with objectively, but with integrity.
Right.
You know, just being
100%.
good about it. And if you're gonna lie to yourself, why are you doing it? You know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there. Some of those people, I haven't heard them say I've murdered every night, but I have heard people talk highly, and I'm like, well, do you have footage? Do you have any? And they're like, I never record my set. I'm like, well, okay, well, you're gonna have to record your sets, and like sometimes it's good to watch yourself, even if it's not very good, and then you learn
Or
from
it's
it.
super uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
I hate listening to myself. I hate watching myself. But
Same. I have I'll say it. I don't have any footage of me murdering.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero footage.
Yeah,
But I have whisperings of other people saying I murdered. So
yeah,
that's all you need.
sometimes,
Word of
Yeah.
mouth goes a long way.
yeah.
yeah. So it's like when it's like the double slit experiment. Like you know, if
Once you hit
someone-
record, it changes everything.
Right.
right?
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
you're being observed, now the game's different.
Yeah, when you're observing yourself in the future, your future self is watching you, then there's pressure. So,
Interestingly, when you did a fantastic job. What was it, 2 weeks ago in San Diego?
Yeah, the clubhouse,
right.
MSG.
Peter's birthday.
You did Madison Square Garden, dude? That's crazy.
The entire place was
That's
booked.
dope. Good for you.
It's a San Diego Madison Square Garden.
It's Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, they print T-shirts and merch there at this.
But you didn't know that I was recording, and
No, I had no idea.
Just decided to record, and he
It was a good
did a
one.
fantastic
It was a fun
job.
one. Yeah.
Nice.
I wouldn't say I murdered though. I would say in my career of stand up, if you can call it that,
Why not? Why not? How long have you been doing it now? It's not a job, you know.
Right.
It's not just a hobby.
Right.
It is a career now.
It is a career.
Good point.
I would say a handful of times. They're like Aces Comedy Club, the Ontario Improv was my first time tasting blood. Like I was, oh my God.
Yeah. You were sired as a vampire for the first time. You're like, oh my God, is this human blood right now? Oh, this is a game changer right now.
Yeah, that's when I was hooked. Is when you're like just destroying, and they're eating out of your hand. Like
Yeah,
I had
you're like,
people
anything I
stop-
could say,
right.
anything, you'll
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, you can just wiggle, and there's like, oh my God, and like the feeling is like just, oh my God, it's so addictive. And so all those other shows, like, and it's fun. It's sort of sad because it's like it is like a drug. Because after the show, there's some shows I'll get out and comics will be like, dude, you murdered, and I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I mean, thank you, that was very nice, but
I'll be
no,
good, but I
yeah.
think I'm gonna hold this. I feel
Yeah,
like I'm gonna
take it out.
smack
Yeah.
the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh,
It's okay. You're good.
Probably better for the.
There
Hi.
you go. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I just don't
Welcome.
want to like spill the beer and be like, oh, George is the one who spilled
Yeah.
it all over Christopher Keith Tyler's stuff. It's
Oh,
like, yeah,
no.
that would be me. That would be me.
Yeah, they're murdering. But may I ask, when you are coming from, you were born in Hawaii, correct?
Correct.
And what island, may I ask?
No. I always wanted to tell someone like, no, you can't ask.
Out of a volcano.
Yeah, I am Maui. I hooked the islands and I brought it myself. I was born on Oahu. I moved all over. I've lived on Maui, you know, where Lahaina is. I've visited the Big Island. There's only a handful. Like, one is a private island and one is a military bombing range, and those are the only ones I haven't visited.
Okay.
So I've been to all of them. I've lived on 2 of them. But if you were to ask me, George, where are you from? I'd say Oahu, and from a small little island plantation town in the middle.
Okay. And like, so you moved to that small island for a portion of your life?
No, I was born on that island.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
And then-
born and raised there, and then moved out, and then
Okay.
moved back.
Oh, interesting.
So I went to preschool at the church preschool that was right next door to the high school that I graduated from. But I went to elementary school in a completely different place. Two separate, different island and a different city.
All right.
So like I ended up back there, and that's why I say that's where I'm from, even though I left. Like I came back at some point, and then I guess I left again.
It's weird when you move back to the same spot, and it's like time traveling in a way, because you go and you see everybody's growing up a little bit more, and you're like, wait, we were friends. And I've had the same thing. I moved from Lake Elsinore in middle school, and then went to Colorado, and then moved right back to Lake Elsinore to the same house in sophomore year. So like 3.5 years went by, and then I came back, and I remember one guy was like, hey, remember me? We were friends. And I'm like,
Nope.
if I don't remember, we're not friends.
I'm like, oh shit. Like, I don't know what to do.
I know there's somebody claiming to be my friend out in Austin that I heard about recently, and someone was like, "Do you remember so and so back in the day?" And I was like, "No, I don't." But they're probably not lying. Like this is probably a me thing. I just forget. I run into. I mean, to be fair, I run into a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people quit comedy and then come back and they quit. 3 weeks in, and they're like, "Hey, George," and I'm like, "I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nothing personal, but like you and 17 other people quit that month.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, once I stop messing up your name when I bring you up on stage, now I remember.
I don't think Aaron Chase has ever not messed up my name. Not one, not sing. He'll add a letter. I don't know how he does it.
shout out to Aaron Chase out there in Chicago, correct?
Yeah, killing it out there.
Yeah.
He's doing the Laugh Factory out there. He's been hosting shows. It's funny because he left and he was like, I'm just sick of doing the producer thing. I don't want to run shows. I just want to be a comic. And now he's producing shows and doing the same thing. But good for him. Yeah, I think it is important to like leave your locale to do comedy.
Yeah, that's I heard that. I think it was Tom Segura one time was saying to do you're not truly a comic or a headliner until you have hit the road or you've performed elsewhere outside of like far from home, and then like now if you can entertain everybody everywhere, then you're qualified.
That's kind of why I like going back home to Hawaii to do comedy, is because it's kind of like a cheat almost. It is such a good place where you do get a variety of people. And so any given day that when you go up on stage, you do have to be very general, but also very specific, you know? Like if we're out here in California and I make a joke about a grocery store and I say that I'm going to my Ralph's, they don't get it.
Right.
You know, and you have to generalize it. But when you go to Hawaii, you also can't, like, there's such a chasm in terms of income, but also in terms of cultural experience that you do have to be like, okay, do I even want to talk about, like, these people live and are from a plantation, you know, like they don't really have that grocery store experience.
Right.
They're living off the land. So it is a cheat in that, like, you have to be mindful of that. And if you can do that there, you can kind of do it anywhere.
It's like acclimating, to each maybe state, city, etc. And knowing like do they like sports or what are they into? What's their niche?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's also important to like run your race, so to speak. I'm not a big sports guy, but I understand that of like do the thing that you came to do so that you can be who said Joe Coy says if it's real, it's funny. You know, so even if they don't have that experience, when they live it through you, they get it,
Sure.
they will get it. Yeah, and Joe Coy's a good example. He did a special at the Blaisdell Center back home. And I think if you watch it, his first 10, 15 minutes, he's just riffing on like island stuff.
That's cool.
You know, and it's very clearly like the way he structures some of his jokes is like, oh, when you go to Detroit, you just swap it out. You know, you have a relevant, you know, blah 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 blah, insert relevant insurance company. You know, things like that.
Right.
And it's very cool to see in a special because I feel like you don't get to see that often. You don't get to see them play around.
Yeah.
Be a comic.
Yeah, no, that's a thing. It's been a hot topic about how we're seeing clips of comics doing improv crowd work.
Yeah.
And like, but a lot of comics don't, especially newer comics, don't realize that these clips are usually from either the very beginning of the show and they have a huge fan base, or it's at the end of the show when they open up for Q&A and then they'll clip it there. And they've already got the audience like hooked in and ready, but like at an open mic, you've only got a few minutes to meet strangers, and like it's very difficult to do crowd work at when you have open mic.
Yeah, I don't think you should personally, and I get that I'm from like a different now generation of comic where it is kind of more about the crowd. But like, you know, back in the day, back when I started, if you had a clip of your set, that was lucky. You know, you had one or two that you're like, okay, I got to upload this to YouTube. This is what I'm going to send to the bookers, because you had to buy it from Flappers for $40 or something. You had to buy your own 5 minutes, which is crazy. But I spent the money because you were not allowed to bring your camera into a club back in that day. You know,
they still do. Yeah, they still. Well, so I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But it could the experience was different back then because you could not. Like that was a hard no, because if you're recording in your set in that club, they don't get the money from you. That's like bringing in outside food. You know, that was a big no-no, but that's kind of changed with COVID. You know, everyone's kind of allowed, and a lot of the clubs will be fine with it. But also, I think the environment of comedy has changed since COVID, because now it is acceptable and kind of perfectly normal to do comedy outside.
Yeah.
And before that what? Why?
Right, yeah.
Why even do it? But
the sound sucks.
Yeah, we had to. You know?
Right. It was interesting because like during the pandemic, when people, it opened up so wide that there were drive-in comedy shows and people were in their cars honking and like.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so like, and I don't know if we'll ever do that again. It was just
I hope not. I hope not. We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
And again, I think this is a generational thing where I've reached a point where if I don't have to, I'd rather not do comedy outside. There's no reason. Like, I am doing it for a very specific drug. And the moment you take a roof off of that venue, there's a part of that drug that I don't get to have anymore. And so why do I want to drive all the way over there for some smack that doesn't hit as hard?
Right. Yeah. Have you ever done a Soapstone Comedy Club in the metaverse yet? Have you
No.
done that?
I haven't even done like the online stuff because of like it feels like I'm smoking CBD weed. It's like I'm not getting the thing that I want.
No,
it's
true.
close enough, but
yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, that's a weird. I've ventured into the Soapstone, and the only comic that I know of that's done it like booked was Stephen Briggs. I saw him in there. But yeah, it's just so weird. Like it's like you're performing for like ghosts. It's very strange.
Yeah. I like the idea of trying to do it though, because I think that style of that Bill Burr pick a spot on the wall and just deliver your joke to that spot, whether there's 0 people or 150,000 people, like that it should come out the same. I agree with that school of thought. So I think doing it in that way is a good challenge because you have to rely on like your own personal timing and being like, okay, this joke is funny. I have to stop here. They're just muted, you know, like they're laughing like this because they have to stay on mute.
You see like animated emoji kind of. It's weird how you're like, oh, I'm doing really well because I just see like these magical
I'm murdering right now. Look at all these hands floating in the air. Thumbs up, heart,
people
heart.
jumping around.
Sit down.
One's like, I'm in a wheelchair, like at home. Like you have no idea. Somebody in like, it's fun. May I ask real quick?
No.
What was the initial start of your comedy adventure? Like how did you get into stand-up?
There was a little like talent open mic thing. It was literally an open mic that existed. It was just on. There was a PA in the student lounge area of my college, and I would frequently just skip class and do that. And I was like, oh man, I'm skipping Japanese for this. Like, and I guess I didn't really. I knew that I enjoyed, like, to go further back, I knew that I enjoyed watching someone on stage with a microphone make me laugh. I never really fully connected that that's stand-up comedy and that's something that I can do. Yeah. You know, I only consumed it. So I was like, that's crazy. You know, I bought like Dimitri Martin's album. I would look for like the premium blend on Comedy Central, just looking for that. But growing up where I grew up, we never had live events like that. It was too expensive to go in the 90s to fly to Hawaii for a weekend to do comedy. No one was going to do that. Right. You know, so I didn't know how to like consume it otherwise on TV. And then when I realized, like, I would steal their jokes in school and stuff and, you know, just repeat it. When I realized, like, oh, I could kind of do what I enjoy watching. I did it at the mic, and then I was like, okay, I'm spending a lot of money to do this. I should just do this. And that was kind of around the time, like, YouTube started popping off. This was, like, when they first announced, like, partners and stuff. And we're talking, like, Shay Carl and SXE Phil and, like, Ryan Higa, back in the pre-thumbs up star rating system of YouTube. So I was also like doing skits with my friend because he had a condo in a hotel, and during the week no one's there. It offered so many different like scenes to just shoot skits. So we were doing that, and then one day he was like, you should just try and do stand-up. Like you should. And I was like, oh, you're right. You know, I was dumb, but I didn't really have a direction up until that point. I kind of wanted just to go to school for marketing, which now I'm doing. But I fell into it, I would say. I wasn't one of those like, oh, I'm gonna do comedy. I was like, I just didn't want to go to class. I was looking for an out, really, and I was like, oh, this is fun. There's a couple people here. They like watching me. You know, and I liked that afterwards. They're like, you're funny, man. You know, because even then I knew that like leave them wanting more, so I would never stay longer for like than 5 minutes.
Okay.
by chance. But I was like, no, because I knew if I stayed longer, I'd embarrass myself. So I was like, I get a couple laughs, I'll take off.
My favorite is when there's these new comics they're like, oh, dude, I could do like 45 for sure.
Sure, anybody can podcast for 45 minutes. Absolutely. I hate that.
I have an hour of material in my notes. You should see, like, I write all the time. I'm like, that's great, dude. I mean, just, work it out. But like, you got to get up there, man. And you got to build and build. But yeah, once you get past that, like, once you start building, like, oh, I have a 5-minute set here, and then now I'm going to work on this separate 5-minute set, and then the separate 5-minute, and then you start piecing it together. And yeah, it's cool. Do
you think you have, like, how do you chunk your material at this point? Like, how long? Because for me, I would say I have 2 solid 15-minute sets that, depending on the length, I can chop up and make 20 or 30 or 25, in that way.
I absolutely believe that's true. I saw it when you did a Lady M Bistro. It was very professional and just I've never seen you, like, I haven't had the opportunity to watch you at that length of time, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, you're very professional.
Thank you. That means the most. I don't need the flyer thing, but that means the most, because I try to be.
Yeah, you are very professional. No, seriously. Like, when one of my, like, to answer your question, my time, I would say I have a strong, like, I feel very comfortable with 25, 30 minutes. After that,
I'm listening. This is just delicious. It's so good.
Yeah, Solaris Beer and Blending.
The Pop Art shout out. That's good.
Pop Art.
Good shit.
Amy's drinking the tangerine, and I'm drinking Wild Noise. It's seltzer day today.
It's creamy though. I love it. Oh man. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Maybe I'm
tangerine's
drunk.
No, you're not. No, it is creamy. It is. It's thick. It's a thick seltzer. Yeah, I feel comfortable with I like when I get offered like a 20 to 30 minute set. I feel good about that. In comparison, though, your stand-up, in my opinion, is more like TV style, TV worthy. That's how I feel when I watch you. I'm like, this is like very fine tuned, and like it's a machine, and I admire that. I'm such a.
It's because I have anxiety.
Well, you hide it well, because like I'm the type where it's so whimsical, and like I like to talk from my heart. And
I've described you as whimsical. I like that you use that word.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's dreamy and like chaotic, but like I like to get lost in the feeling, and I understand too that makes it hard to book me, because I don't have like it's like, what is he gonna do tonight? Like what material am I gonna choose based on the situation? So, for example, at the Clubhouse show, I thankfully I'm so used to like being up in the beginning that night I got to be later in the show.
You got to enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I got to enjoy myself, and I was watching the audience, and it helped me like, I know what I'm going to talk about, and I leaned into it and spoke from the heart, and it was like all story form, and people
and action.
A lot of action based, and like I was having a lot of fun, but I didn't do any crowd work, and like but I didn't after the show. This was interesting. Comics that were there, everyone was they were like, dude, you really knocked it out of the park. That was like the best I've ever seen you do. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't remember what happened. I'll go home and watch the set. Amy said she recorded it, and I'm thankful that she did. So I watched it, and I hated it. I was like, dude, there's it was too spread out with laughs. Mm-hmm. But it was so entertaining, but people were engaged in watching and listening to the stories, and it was a lot of fun. But I was like, I didn't really tell any jokes. Like, and I was like, I don't then I started spiraling, and I was like, I don't think I ever have told any jokes. Do I?
I don't know if I can write a joke.
Right. I'm like, I don't even know if I know how to tell a joke. And so I stayed up, and I was just watching old footage that I have from years and years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, I sound like that even then. And I'm like, am I a stand-up comic? And then I started really like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I was having like a crisis. And then the next morning I messaged one of the comics that were there, who's a very professional like yourself. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. And I told him everything I just said. And he's like, no, honestly, your jokes are in there. It's like mixed in like oatmeal. It's just this, and it's very entertaining and it's fun to watch. And like, don't be so hard on yourself. But like a lot of comics are, and this is what he was saying, that he's like, you do something that a lot of don't do, and like it's different and it's fun. But you're a comic, you're okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know.
All right, I'll come down from this ledge.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Right. But I'm like, maybe I'm more of like my grandma used to say, she's like, Christopher, you shouldn't do stand-up because that's the devil talking through you. You should just do stories. Just tell public speak. I'm like, well, that's no fun. Like, I don't want to. I like making people laugh. And, but yeah, I'm like trying to go back to, I'm trying to, in this comic that I'm mentioning, in the conversation, we realized that I don't do linear stand-up. I never heard that before. And I was like, linear, interesting. I would like to be more linear. And I think it's because I'm ambidextrous. My brain, I'm like mentally ill, but not. I don't know like what it's called, but
more like mentally thrilled, dude.
Yeah, I love it. I want a shirt that says that. Mentally thrilled. That's great.
Mental thrillness. What up?
Yeah, dude. Hashtag mental thrillness. That's great, man.
I think we all suffer from that as artists, though. It's like, it's so hard because our experience is so our experience, and it's hard, we should, but it's so hard to validate someone else's experience that is different of our art, you know? So in the sense of like, am I a comic that you were feeling? I think if you stepped back and you realize, you convinced, I guess, yourself, not realized, but convince yourself that you did the job, though.
Right.
Like in that moment in time, your job was to captivate those people, make sure they laughed, and by the end, make sure that they, for your entire duration, had a good time.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that is kind of what it boils down to. How you get there.
Right.
That's, it's the journey, man.
Yeah.
But that's your technique. That's
Right.
your way of doing things.
Right.
And if you sacrifice who you are, you're no longer going to be authentic anymore.
Right.
And people will see that.
Yeah. And I think that's why, I guess for contrast, like I think that's why I have a tendency to just be precise. I think my process is just different. I have to know that I can show up, kind of put it on autopilot, and do that for 20 minutes, and without fail. Like if no one bothers me, I don't really like doing crowd work because I like hurting people's feelings, and that's not the job.
Probably not the best.
Yeah, exactly. Like I understand
idea.
that's not the job, but at an open mic, if you bomb in front of me, best believe I'll talk about it.
Yeah. No, I like that. No, I like honesty, transparency, and awareness. I love when a comic is aware, or a person. I just like when people are aware of everything going on. I'm one of those like feel good, like I like the way this room feels.
It's charming. That vibe is very charming. I will say
that's a really good word for it.
It's almost it's like a snake dancing, where it's like this is fun. Like I can't explain why I'm captivated. I am, and I'm here for a good time. But I think I hate my style, I guess, if that's what it's called, because every time I listen, it feels like I'm jackhammering it. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I don't care what you want. Boom, boom. Like this is my set. This is what I'm gonna do. So I've tried to make it more live. Like try to leave some openings, like
casual,
right? Yeah, like purposely
loose.
If I have a 20-minute set that I'm doing, purposely have a set list that's 15.
Okay.
So that I have to do my jokes slower, so that I have to address the crowd, because then I get to have more time, more fun, and I think unfortunately that is kind of where I excel, because I am being vulnerable, and that it's very anti-me. It's off the script. This is kind of just off the cuff. I'm hoping we can connect as people and see how it goes, and that's where the best sets come out for me. Right, I think.
Yeah. I have this thing,
but I bombed yesterday hard, so don't take what I said with
That's
anything.
Okay. Hey, I think it's great when performers can admit, like, it's even crazier when people will post their sets when they're bombing on video. That's gnarly.
I know. No,
that's really giving in to it all.
Yeah,
and not giving a fuck. And that is so admirable. And what if we did that? What if we exposed ourselves like that? How would we grow? Yeah. And what direction would you grow?
Yeah, it's a tough call, because like
you grow a hole in my brain because it'd blow them out. Like I could not. Like I'll throw my phone away if something like, I don't want to see that. But that's why like I don't have any really good sets recorded, and the ones that I do, I don't listen to, because I know that when I go back, I'm gonna be like, that sucked. It's not gonna be what I remember. Like I have a recording, and it's a fairly good recording because it's from my watch of one of the times I was at the Ice House, and it's the only thing I have in existence. It's an audio only, where I feel I was like, I murdered. I listened back and I was like, no, that's a solid set. But the more I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this sucks. It does. The first 2 times I listened to it on the way back home, because I was like, I need to. Yes, it went well, but I need to know what I could have done better so it could go even better.
Yeah.
And so I listened to the first time, and the first 2 times I was like, that was perfect. I did it well. And then more, I was like, oh no, that's. I can tell that I was floundering for a second. Like I forgot where I was gonna go with that joke, or I repeated a tag.
Yeah, and how many times do we need to how many times would you listen to your set before that starts happening? Because in the beginning you said that 2 times that you listened to it, you were like, yeah, that's pretty badass.
I was,
And then you really start critiquing when you hear it over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But I want to be better. I want that smack to hit harder. You know, like it is about the dopamine fix of like I don't mean to plug unnecessarily, but like I'm teaching like a little comedy thing at the improv school in Redlands next month, and a lot of people have been talking shit about it and being like, you can't teach, and part of me like
how do you fucking know that?
But I feel like it should affect me, but it is such a me experience where like I know why I am doing this. Like it doesn't, and that's how I feel with my comedy. It's like somebody can be like, George, you're not funny, and I would be like, you are wrong. You know, through and through, you are wrong.
That's great. I mean, dude, how many times in our lives and our experiences that we've gotten shit on, we've gotten the and then this and then that, and it's just like, dude, just fucking go away.
Yeah. It usually is from people doing nothing. Yeah. I don't have time to be catty about things. I'm busy. You know?
100%.
It's like I'd understand. 2 things. One, I'd understand if it was comedian teachers telling me that I can't teach comedy, I don't have the right to, or whatever. But when it's other like performers who don't teach comedy, or like it's weird and hateful. And also if it makes you feel any better, I taught comedy at Aces Comedy Club with Rocky, and it was for people to want to do it for their first time, and that was like years ago, and the students that were there like still come message me, and they're like, I'm still doing it, thank you for
if somebody wants and seeks a different introduction into comedy than other comedians have had, who are we to deny them that? You know, like that some people don't do it well by showing up to a bar, waiting 2.5 hours to go up in a place that they don't know. Some people just can't excel with that, you know? So put structure on it and a price even, and if they're willing to pay that, that's worth to them. It doesn't care what I don't care what anyone else thinks, you know? Because I would like to I am trying to replace the experience that I had, I guess, with my siblings. Where like I do like mentoring people. I do give advice and regularly when I see it, and it is something I enjoy, and it's just seemed like an avenue to do it. But the amount of like screenshots of stories and comments talking about like this thing that I'm doing for kind of just me was unfathomable. I was like, I didn't even know this many people like knew about me. Like, what's going on? It's cool though.
Yeah, no, that's what it's fascinating how like people will come out of the woodwork, and like when when you're as an artist, like when you don't know, there's a lot of shadow viewers. Like there's people who don't comment, don't like. Oh my
God.
And then they'll come up to you and they're like, I've been following you and you're like, what? Like, who are you? And they're like,
freaking creeper. Yeah. It creeps me out.
Yeah.
I listened to your second episode of your podcast. Dude, I've been doing this since 2017. What are you talking about? You dug.
Yeah. No, it's fun. And I think it's great that if anybody's going to teach, I think I would be a student of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. I don't think I have anything special.
I think you do though.
I have experience.
You do it, and that's what matters. And like I took a comedy workshop. I was scared to go to a bar and try it for my first time.
Exactly. Or like if someone's an alcoholic and they're like, I can't spend more than 45 minutes in there or I will drink. Like they need a different in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I won't go on. I've talked about it before on the podcast, but I will say like the teacher that taught our workshop, and I paid $300 to do 4 Sunday classes. And
okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, and then the 5th one was the show night at the Hollywood Improv. I got 7 minutes.
Nice.
It was great. And
man, if I did that, I would have used that picture for the next 10 years.
I have one photo of me someone took of me that night, and I like to look back. I wish I had the audio or video of it. But I mean that was anyways, it was a 2009. That was that time. But the teacher wasn't even a stand-up comic. He told us like from the get-go, he's like, okay, I'm glad that you guys all are here. I'm excited. I think you guys all have huge balls for wanting to do stand-up because I would never do what you're. And everyone's like, what?
I'm a driving instructor. Just here. I work next door.
Yeah. Like I just drove here. It was Santa Monica. I drove all the way to Santa Monica, and this guy was saying that he worked in the industry and he knew what people wanted. And even though he didn't have stand-up experience, that class helped me. And I appreciate it. We did not get along. The teacher hated me. But
you're too whimsical, Christopher.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are you here? You're the worst. You're terrible."
Damn, I'd have fought him after class.
Oh man, it was rough.
Chris is too sweet. You just accepted it and moved on and got better.
No, it was thanks to a student he was a magician. It was on the last class. I almost quit, and he was like, "Dude."
Was it Pip the Magic Dragon?
No. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but he was like, hey, it was weird because after I walked out, I was just defeated. And I'm like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I can do this. And then he's like, hey, man, can I talk to you for a moment? And he's like, let's go talk in your car. And like, I was like,
zip.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I was getting really nervous. And so we sat and he was like, this is what the teacher isn't telling you is like, you need more formatting. You need to do a premise and an act out. And you're a storyteller. You just need to fit like punchlines in your story. And I was like, oh, that helps a lot. So then the last class, I actually made the class like giggle and laugh. And the teacher was like, okay, great. And that's all it took was just a little bit of formatting and someone believing in me a little bit. But, and then I ended up being the one student that's still doing stand-up ever since.
Nice. That seems about the retention rate. Yeah.
Yeah. And that teacher, he still won't accept my friend request on Facebook. And I
give me my certificate.
I message him every 5 to 10 years or whatever, and I check in and I let him know what I'm been up to.
Headlining again. Yeah. That's for you.
Yeah.
You said I was the worst.
Yeah. He's doing stand up now, though.
No shit.
Yeah, he is doing stand up. But that's it. Anyways, I think it's great that you're doing. I think it's good to just help others because it's a scary thing to go.
Yeah, I think there's something powerful when you can have an opportunity to kind of like demystify the arts. You know, and that's kind of why I gravitated towards that space, and Nick, the owner, because he said it best. He's like, I think you and I, because he's an improv guy, he's a theater dude, you know, and I'm clearly stand up, and he made it clear, like, we're doing the same thing, you know, we're kind of just cultivating a community that kind of supports itself and each other so that people have a space to express themselves. I was like, yes, that is exactly what I'm doing, and nobody seems to thank me for it. So it was cool, but I do like an opportunity to be like, look, this isn't that crazy. Like what we're doing is not, it looks crazy, it feels crazy, but once you get there, once you watch it enough, you're like, it's not that, like, you know. It is a series of straight and then a sudden left turn, straight and then a sudden left turn. You know, that's all we're doing.
Right.
And to explain that to more people, to get more people to do it, I think is just going to raise the bar for everybody. It's going to make everybody want to work harder and just going to create better comedians out of it.
Yeah. Last question on this topic, but with
what time is it? Sun's still up. My beer's not empty. What are you talking about? Last question.
For on this topic, I think, I don't know if you're doing this already in your class, but I think you should have like a stage 2 or like a second class on the marketing end.
For sure.
Do you have that in plan?
So this first one, you know, full disclosure, is kind of like the first one. Like I've never really done this on a large scale. I've done it kind of person to person, through emails, through Zoom, kind of just answering questions more or less. But through that, I made a flow chart, which then kind of creates its own little curriculum. And I realized that, like, sure, there's a lot to talk about initially, but then once you're comfortable up there, once you know how to write a joke, there's so much more.
Right.
There's something about, you know, we're talking about like word economy and things like that. So there is other things, and I'm like, I don't think that fits in a beginner class.
Oh, of course not.
You know, like show running.
You'll scare them away.
Yeah, it might be maybe even a comedy intensive at that point. But I do have other topics that I'm like, I think I could share. Like I want everyone to have the tools that I have, because I think also selfishly it'll force me to innovate and be better.
Well, they say that if you can teach it, then you're perfecting
a failure, right? I'm sure.
Complete failure.
I think so, or that if you can teach it to someone simply, then you really do understand the source material. I hope. We'll find out. I'm gonna text you, Christopher, on my day 2, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll come sit in with you, man. Yeah, no, you're like, there need a lot of comics out. Hey, everybody, just want to shout out there's a lot of comics that need help with their marketing. And if you guys are interested, I suggest follow George Ferido's work, because it's helped us with comedy entertainment on my, like, when creating or not the content, but like the hooks and the way of like making it look and eye appeal, because you have 1 second to like hook them. So
your branding has to be clear.
Right. Yeah,
I agree.
So you do a great job.
Thank you. Like I said, I wanted to go to school for marketing, and it just so happened that I'm learning in the streets, you know, like I'm just doing it. Hopefully. But you guys will go to my channel and be like, he's got no followers. Like, what are you talking about, Christopher Keith Tyler? Like, I don't really have that.
Well, you have the followers that you have are legit followers.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
You're not just have all these like porn, whatever. Those,
watch my blowjob,
bots. You just have a bunch of bots. Oh man, I just had a brain fart.
I'm trying to build a community.
Yeah, you are.
Like,
You have created a community. Going to the buddy system shows, and like your Thursday night show,
it's fun, right? It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
I agree.
Back to the grind.
We got lucky with that spot, but I think it's like that thing where like luck is preparation and opportunity. It's like you've seen, we were at the Hideaway. We spent so many places trying to figure out what makes successful comedy, and we finally got a spot that we can do all of the things that we learned that also also, because what sucked when I got there, also now has climate control. That's a game changer. During the summer, when I first started down there, this is probably 2012, 2013, no AC, no fan, just stinky poets and musicians just down there. But even then, I was like, yo, these people are down here because they love this. Like what they're doing, they love it. Yeah. And so that was the first place I did stand-up in SoCal. In general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's where I met like Steven Espinosa, and it was a completely different game. But I was drawn to that space, and to have it now is just
it's epic.
It's great.
No, I have so much fun, and I've learned so much from being a part of your shows. And congratulations on all your future success as well as the ones that you've already had.
We'll see. Feels like a lot of the fires are dying out, but
no, it's a long. That's
a new journey for you.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
A lot of comics that have to realize like it's a road of like it's not instant gratification, and when you're in it for the long haul, the good takes time to arrive. People thrive on negativity and that's more instant because you're going to get instant feedback. So being mean to the audience or like what, but like when you are providing or doing good for the community, it comes back down the road, but it builds and just
great. So it just means I'm going to fail, but I'm going to have a nice casket. I'm going to have a gilded casket to be in.
I mean, really, I have to agree. And I know it's kind of a cliche, but enjoying the journey, and it really, say it a million times to yourself, and then, you'll start understanding it, because it's what happens then when you get to your destination. What happens then? Then what? So really it is enjoying now and finding the small things now. That's where the gratitude comes. I don't mean to be like a guru, but that's really what the gratitude comes in. And you're, being thankful for what you have. And holy shit, I had a great show. Or holy shit, I actually, I have a student that's been in it for a year. Holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is important to get ourselves, collected and
to be present even.
To be present.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's something I really do admire with Carissa Gomez is like, I've always thought she was funny, but she has a freedom in being able to tell you exactly how she feels right in that moment, whether she's on stage or off. And I'm like, that's cool. Because like I said, I have to have a set list because I have anxiety. I have to hide it
need
behind
structure.
Yeah, exactly. But to be able to be present, being whimsical and being live on stage is there's a charm to that I don't think I can channel. And so I admire that ability to just be present. I try for it, everything. I try to be present. Rock climbing is the most present that I can be, but that I'm kind of forced into it. It's like pay attention or die.
Right.
So, but to be able to tap into that makes it easier to kind of fake it till I make it. Because have you guys seen Soul?
Yeah, of course.
It's one of my favorite movies ever.
But that moment that he has with Dorothea, and he's like, what do I do now? And she tells him about the fish that's looking for the ocean. He's like, you're in it. You're in the ocean. He's like, no, this is just water. It's like, yes, but no. This is what the thing. Like you're saying, he got to the place, he did the thing, and now what? The what is the now? Yeah, getting there and doing it. And I think in the last, it's 2024 now, so probably the last 3 years, I could say that if I were to die, God forbid, if I were to die, I don't think I have that many regrets, even in comedy, even if I don't make it, whatever that means. I think I did a lot of work. I think I left a large legacy, whether anyone wants to admit that or not. But I did that because it fulfilled my soul. It felt like a spark almost.
Yeah, and you're very consistent.
That's honest with yourself. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. No, you're consistently building blocks. That's what every day is a potential block added to the pile.
Right.
But you want the pile to be nice and fit. And tight.
Yeah. You want that pyramid to look sick at the end.
You can't, integrity and not being. It won't be easily knocked over. your career is like strong and steady. Real quick, I want to shout out to Clarissa. I always call her Clarissa
because Clarissa explains it all.
Yeah, Miss Gomez, Clarissa Gomez, right? Yeah, is it? I always think it's Carissa.
Carissa. It is Carissa.
Yeah. Anyways, Carissa, I want to tell you, she was one of the highlights from our first comedy fest. She went up, she was rocking a dress too up on stage.
Nice.
And that was the best set I ever saw her do.
Nice.
She killed it that day. But yeah, she's very...
Carissa's funny.
Yeah, she feels the room and she gets in it. And but yeah, shout out to Carissa. Well, everything that you've said is just fantastic, and I'm thankful for everything that you do.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're getting kicked off.
Let's move into our conspiracy segment.
Oh,
Let me finish this.
Oh yeah.
Conspiracy, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, conspiracy, baby, yeah.
What's the topic for today, Comedy Krow?
Oh, yeah, today's conspiracy is going to be about Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth? Hollow Earth, like, what's the difference between flat and hollow?
Let's just find out.
Dimensions.
Yeah, dimensions, yeah. Hollow Earth is a fun, because, like, there's flat, there's, like, communities of globe Earth versus flat Earth, and then there's Hollow Earth that goes through. What is it? Hollow Earth like a bowling ball? Is that like, how would you?
I think that
describe
depends on how you subscribe to the theory, because I think there are some people who believe, and to be fair, no one has seen the inside of the Earth with their eyes. This is all deductive reasoning that we've used, but there's some people that think that the Earth is hollow, that once you get through the mantle, that there is a kind of terrarium of places, like we mentioned before, the cast, the Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's a great book. It's a great movie. Jules Verne, I think, wrote Journey. Also, maybe Treasure Island. If I'm getting that right? I'm not sure, but the idea that a prehistoric kind of society that was free of asteroid impact, that was free of any sort of interruption,
right?
Got to kind of exist there.
Global wipeout.
Yeah, a place where large things got to exist and never got wiped out.
They were kept safe in the core.
Some theories think that the entire Earth is hollow, but also that we have pockets of those places,
like bowling ball holes,
sort of. Yeah, but just like lava tubes almost, that create themselves this little biosphere. And they're not wrong, I guess, essentially. Like if you go to Antarctica, there are places under the miles of glacier that have untouched bacteria from, pre-wipeout, all three of them, all of the big extinctions, that there are bacteria that exist from that time.
Yeah.
And that are still thriving and are still living. And if that can exist on the surface,
right. What's else?
Yeah,
what
who's to say that it can't exist down there? Who's to say that the sonar that you're using to look through the magma, you're just looking in the wrong spot?
Yeah, I like, because there's at the bottom of like the Ariana Trench. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's the Mariana
Trench.
Yeah, that's where kaiju come out from, by the way. If you like Pacific Rim.
That's right. Yeah, I think sometimes they put truth in the movies, and like at the bottom of that, there's a trench where this oceanic or a ship went down, and they found a lake on the bottom of the ocean that's sort of like SpongeBob, but it's like this black liquid, and there were like sea snakes coming in and out of it, but the ship could not penetrate into this like lake that's on the, and there's video of it, you can see it, and mysteriously, coincidentally, that
conspiratorially,
he randomly died in a helicopter crash like not too long after.
He found out.
Yeah, he was like, we can't go in there. That could be one of those pockets that only certain things can come in and out based on vibration maybe. Yeah, that you have a certain vibration, you could probably pass through it.
It's like what is it? Flash that you can go through walls.
Oh yeah.
You have to be at a certain vibration to actually penetrate.
Man, I loved that show with my soul for so long.
Oh, the TV Flash.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the Flash. I just like I love the Flash movie and I love Flashpoint Paradox. But I didn't follow the show. But anyways, the Hollow Earth, and then here's my theory on top of that theory is like, if let's just say it's true. Let's say it's true. What if the sorry, there's cars.
They're coming
outside.
for us.
Yeah,
we better
Already.
stop.
All the import race cars are. It's like a Hollow Earth community.
Yeah.
It's the Earth is a giant eyeball, and the North Pole is the pupil, and earthquakes are from the pupil dilating and flexing, and it's a giant god eye, and that's why you can go on the inside, and that's where imagination and true north is the hole in the middle. That's just a fun theory, and and it ties in with how globe or flat Earth people say there's a dome. I'm like, well, that if it was in a big eyeball, maybe it is.
Maybe it's an eyelid.
Yeah, maybe it's a big, huge eye that we're living on, and we're like the imagination of we're living on the coast is like the face of the eye, and the North Pole's in the middle, and the sun and the moon are like part of a simulation, and God's eye is there. But there could be other eyes. There could be lots of other eyes, and you can go in. That's just a fun eyeball theory. We just created another
another dimension.
Another conspiracy.
The double slit experiment tells us that if we could be talking new dimensions into existence.
Yeah, that's true. For sure, yeah. Possibilities are multiverse. Yeah. That's the new ticket right now. Is multiverse with both DC and Marvel.
Come on,
that's just lazy writing.
Who owns the entertainment industry? What's the whatchamacallit?
Scientology. No.
Yeah.
Fuck Tom Cruise. No, from what I understand, I think it's the government has a budget for entertainment. So
that makes sense, yeah.
If entertainment has a budget, then entertainment has maybe the responsibility to slowly leak what is already true.
True. Or perhaps that's the human experience. It is kind of our natural tendency to be like, yeah, but check this out,
Because a lot of the movies are written by authors, and there's so many books that haven't turned into movies yet. So the people who are creating all these stories and dimensions are just everybody's. If you're this is a bold statement, but if you're whimsical or you're creative, you're a creator. So therefore, we're all gods, and you can create your own reality. So there's infinite, and we all have eyes.
That sounds like woo woo, but if you take a step back from yourself, even if she's an NPC and I'm an NPC and you're playing the game. You are still kind of existentially the god of your experience.
Right.
No one's going to know who you truly are and inside of you. So even if it is there's no way, but you are. No one has your experience. No one has your world that you are kind of creating and making decisions. And maybe it is impossible for us to create and destroy matter in this frequency. Maybe just speaking it creates matter in a separate frequency that's imperceptible to your eyes, and or anything of your experience outside of the universe itself.
Right, because as we speak, that's already a frequency in itself.
Right.
So if whatever we're speaking, whatever words are creating that vibration, then those words go into that frequency or vibrate with that frequency. So really, it's so endless.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite part about stand-up, if I'm being honest, is the fact that I can have this weird, almost scent. I describe it as a scent when somebody says something and I'm like, there's a joke in there. I was like, it smells like there's something in there. And so to have that weird kind of impulse in my brain and have no kind of medium through with which to explain that information outside of vibrating air and to get that into your brain, like that blows my mind sometimes to be like, you think this is funny too?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Break that shit down.
Yeah.
Like, really break it down. Like, you know, the words that you speak, again, the vibration that you're creating with your voice, even just like the high pitch, the low pitch, how that resonates through the eardrum into the brain and into a certain area of their brain.
Yeah.
And then that penetrates any memories that they have, any smells that they have, everything. And you're like, holy shit, this is really complicated, but holy fuck, this is like really, really amazing.
It's crazy. But and to ignore or dismiss that kind of like thought is crazy, because that's like saying a radio only has one station that you can listen to. You know, you just got to turn the dial just a little bit, and you
what
get
is the
something
radio
else.
on? They're all on frequencies.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
We live in vibration. We live, and then there, you know, the I don't know if you guys know, but in San Diego and I think on the East Coast, we have two machines that they're now in. Two machines to help. I don't want to say, I hate using the word cure sometimes, but anyway, cure cancer. So basically, it is a frequency device, and they tune it to a specific frequency, and it depletes. And I've seen these videos, these cancer cells just like poop.
It's crazy.
Like they're gone. Yeah. It is a trip.
Yeah. But it is like the Flash, smashing glasses, just vibrating. But that's what happens, you know, like that's real.
It's fucking real.
Like
We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
When people, there's videos of people where they can use their voice to crack a glass. It's not how loud it's the pitch, it's the vibration.
It's the frequency of the wave.
Like, right. Yeah. And they have like those military weapons that use sound.
Yo, we talking about direct energy
No,
weapons? Right now?
well, no, actually, no. I thought about that for a second, but no, I'm actually talking about there's one crowd control weapon where it makes
They've been
people
using that for a long time.
It makes
Makes
people
them nauseous, right?
Makes them throw up.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's
that?
called my ex-girlfriend.
Just bring her out.
All of our
She's like,
exes.
George.
No, just her existence.
Everyone's like,
you don't even have to. You can cut her cord. You just put her there.
There's that one, and then there's also like that rail gun. I think that's a form of vibration that they have on the ship that they can shoot for a long distance. I don't know what they're. It's a form of it's like a vibration weapon that has infinite power or whatever, but. Yeah, those are rail guns. Metal Gear was the one that opened my eyes to that. With I forget.
But those are real. That's what's crazy to watch.
Stuff.
To watch DARPA be like, check this out. Watch what we can do with this 2-inch piece of steel. You're like, we're gonna send it to China, and it's still gonna go. Yeah,
it was all thanks to like one guy went to go get healed at a tuning fork facility, and he's like, "Oh, I could kill people with this." Like,
Ooh, I have an idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this on a ship.
Hey guys, hear me out. Hear me out. Destruction.
This was what a fun Hollow Earth. Who knew? It's funny how the art of conversation.
Yeah,
that's what's fun.
I just want dinosaurs. If I'm being honest, I used to love dinosaurs.
Do you think dinosaurs have feathers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big giant chickens or whatever.
I like I guess paleontology in that aspect, because I feel like they are a little more willing. The paleontologists are more willing to accept new paradigm shifts in their field more so than like astronomers.
Oh,
you know, because they're like, because like the idea that they had feathers is pretty recent. You know, like like when they were making even like Jurassic Park, they're like, no, this is what they look like.
Yeah,
like that's what they thought. You know, and they have like a giant brontosaurus, but like they're always updating that, and they're like, okay, we might have been wrong.
Right,
they might have had beaks. Yeah. But like you talk to like Neil deGrasse Tyson, And he's like,
he's kind of like,
Well,
I wonder about. Anyway,
what did
sorry.
he
they're
say?
just but they're just so rigid in their thoughts and I mean, Galileo was put to death for not having a sun-centric model
Right.
or an Earth-centric model, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's bananas now.
Yeah.
But it took so long for them to move. But like in paleontology, I feel like they're just like, all right, just show us how we're wrong, and like, all right, you're right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a big movement on dragons are like a new hip thing where they're realizing from like they're like, maybe they didn't just have feathers, but I think they had actual wings. Like the dragons were real. And so I saw this thing recently where they were like on the Chinese astrology chart. Like I'm the year of the dog for 82.
You're the snake.
Yeah, there's like there's all these animals
I got
except
the monkey.
but there is the dragon year, and they're like, how come the dragon gets to be a part of it? Maybe it was real, and so it goes on of like, maybe dragons did exist, and that's why they're showing up in movies all the time, and House of the Dragon, and
Like, come on, like I know we're creative beings, but I feel like, man, if we think it up, it exists.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe down in our DNA and our core, part of us from our ancestors remember somewhere inside all of us, we can remember the world, what it used to be 1,000 years ago.
No, 100%, because they've already proven that one drop of blood can hold about like a massive amount of information. It's like 3 million terabytes of information for one drop of blood. So there's like, we inherit our ancestors' anxieties, depressions,
I'm talking about like
experiences.
biological memory and stuff. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we not somehow get these feelings or somehow get these like ideas, dragons, whatever it is?
Yeah.
How is this not maybe real in some way?
Yeah.
Thoughts, just thoughts.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy and a lot of the experience that like go like scientists like to pretend we have all that figured out, but then you hear shit like 70% of the universe is dark matter.
Right.
And you're like, okay, what is dark matter? And they're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It just fits, you know?
Right.
I
They have
no
to
idea.
call it something to put in a category so that we understand it in some like very superficial way.
Yeah. And if the universe is always expanding, what is it expanding into? You know, like I don't what? There's so much regular stuff that I don't understand that I at this point it's hard for me to like just dismiss everything. There's got to be a little bit of truth in everything.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Like is magic real? I don't know. But vibes are real sometimes, you know, to just go be next to a person. I'm like, I don't really like you.
Yeah, exactly. That's real.
Yeah,
Your
yeah. And
feelings
what
are
is
your
that?
magic. Your feelings are the mysticism behind, humanity. And yeah.
I was telling I've been doing massage
So
therapy
you
for
didn't have a stutter.
Lies.
I've been doing massage therapy professionally full time for the last 24 years now, and there are people who we've all heard of like energy vampires, and like sometimes when I'm working on people, I work on so many people, and every once in a while I'll be working on somebody. And it's just like so difficult for me to get through the hour or 90 minutes working on this person, and I'm just tired, and it's just draining, and I'm not thinking like, oh, this is an energy vampire, but I'll get out of the treatment room, I'll wash my arms off, and then I'll flip the room, and flipping the room is when you like change the sheets and clean the room and everything. And I'm bringing the next person. I'm back to everything's fine, but like my theory is like these energy vampire people, and I don't think they know that they are. It could be like in their genetics or something, but they keep coming back to me because I have all this energy.
You keep feeding
Yeah, I
them,
keep feeding them, and they're like, I don't know what it is about
They're
your
no
massage,
face,
but
basically. You're just like eating all your energy and emotions.
Yeah, they're like
there's
little
who
Pac-Man,
knows?
Yeah.
energy Pac-Man.
There's something. There
They're
are
like, yeah, I really like this guy.
yeah.
He's
Now
cool.
Chris has good vibes. I don't know what it is because I asked because let me back up. Anytime Chris massages me, or I give him a hug, or I'm around him, like I feel it. I can't explain it. I feel
Wet.
just like
Just wet.
it's like just this calmness, this good feeling, this like warmth that you can't really describe. And I had asked, because sometimes I get kind of depressed, or I'm kind of an introvert anyway, but I had asked like, hey, am I like one of those energy vampires? Because I feel like anytime he hugs me, I'm just like, oh my God, this feels so good. But
I think he's consenting in that, though. Like,
I know.
but even like emotionally speaking, you know, like he's going in for the hug with you. So even if you were being an emotional vampire, like he's still like, no, I'm giving this to you, you know?
Right.
And he's your Bella.
Aw, yeah.
Wait, who's Bella?
I'm just a little insecure. I just had to
That's fair.
let that
Yeah.
out there.
That's, I think though that's a good awareness to have of be like, am I being too much? You know, like I think there's not a lot of people that even just behave on that wavelength where like I feel like most people are more than willing to just take,
Yep.
and not really cognizant of what they are taking. And so that's important. That's a good. No wonder you kept her around. I like it. Good for you.
Yeah, she doesn't suck the energy out of me whatsoever.
Not the energy. No.
Real quick, you said Bella. What? Who?
From Twilight.
Oh, Twilight. I was thinking like Beauty and the Beast. That's Belle.
That's Belle.
Right,
Yeah.
my bad.
I hate girls that are like, that's my favorite princess.
Yeah.
Why? Because she can read? That's rude. That's just...
Now
She's
you're
a bookworm. I'm a bookworm.
what? You are in a Disney adult such as us. We're also. I don't have any. It's so like you're a Disney adult. So it's like, do you like theme parks? Like, there's no category for people who are like Six Flaggers.
Yeah.
Right?
I get the idea that Disney is for children, but Disneyland, to have a good time, you need money.
Yeah.
No, that's for grown-ups.
Right.
Grown up.
That's true. And then there's plenty for
But we've
adults
been
to
to
go.
Universal Studios, and it's way more expensive.
And that's my follow-up.
That's fair,
My
yeah.
question was, what do you like more, Disneyland or Universal Studios?
I go for two very separate experiences.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. Like I have done just the solo Disney trip to just go vibe, eat some lobster mac and cheese, watch the boat, maybe get on a ride or two, no rush, just kind of be there. There's no
Adulting.
lines, just I can just exist in a place where like I know where my car is, everything's safe. I can just kind of walk around and get my steps in a very positive feeling place. Universal Studios is a little different, where it's like I'm a tinkerer by default. I like taking things apart. I like knowing how things work. I like working with my hands. I like putting together models. So I really, really like going to the Universal Studio tour just to kind of see the behind the scenes. Like I like just driving by the Good Place set. Like, this is cool. Like I see this on TV, and then being like, they're like, you gotta shut up because they're filming. You're like, oh, that's cool.
Right?
So they're very different experiences that I
Yes.
go for.
That's cool.
So I mean, more often than not, I've had both passes.
Okay.
Especially because they museum you at Universal. They're like, look, it's $25 more and you can get the pass. And you're like, oh yeah, that's stupid if I don't. I'll come back.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would be more inclined, I guess, to go to Universal if they had like feral dogs. Because like Disney has feral cats that are beautiful.
They're
Those
beautiful.
cats are
Cats and
beautiful. Have you seen their cats?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those things.
And they're
long
super
hair,
sweet.
beautiful cats walking around in California Adventure.
They're
and it's
intentional too. It's to keep the mice out.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah. So yeah,
It ruins the experience.
they
if
should
there's
have like
mouse.
Hollywood
Hollywood
hounds.
hounds. Oh yeah. Edit that out. No, edit that out. They're gonna steal that.
Shit.
Yeah.
They already have a pets show, which is one of my
Chris already
favorite.
did it. Chris did
Yeah,
it.
the wild coyotes, wildy coyotes that
Yeah.
are running around that would work. But yeah,
They eat children every now and then, but we just brush it under the rug.
some kid getting pulled away with his
That's the price of business here.
You're walking your kid with the leash, and then you look over and there's a dog. Like, it's been swapped out with a feral dog.
A dog and an annual pass. You're like, hey, look, don't talk about it.
You're like, oh, he follows better directions than my child. I don't know where the kids went, but it's Hollywood. All right, so we're gonna close it out there. George, where can everybody find you online or on stage? Where would you? We have you on the big screen right there on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I look so fat over there, dude. But if you want to see more of my fat face, I'm on Instagram at the George F. Everything I do Tuesdays, Thursday, open mic nights at the Buddy System Co. We have a patreon.com/the Buddy System Co. where we have like extra stuff. We do have priority sign up, so you can like pay for that there. You can also consume the super secret podcast that we have up there as well. Teaching the show, improvschoolredlands.com. If you guys are interested in taking a class, you're in Redlands, you're local, check them out, sign up there. At the George F on everything. If you're interested in anything I'm doing, the BuddyCast is on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts. So I stay busy. I do a lot, but I'm having a good time. So thank you for having me here.
Right on, thank you.
And then before I had to ask one more thing about the class.
No, I already plugged. No, I'm just
I know. With the class, I'm imagining, like, what would it take for you to, like, kick somebody out of the class? Like, would it be, like...
they would have to be disruptive to the space as a whole.
Okay.
Because, like, I want to kind of create and cultivate a very positive space where people are comfortable. Kind of like, I guess... indirectly what the Buddy System is. I want to create a space where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, where you can express yourself freely, because that's the goal, right? Is to be as real and as authentic a version of yourself on stage, and I want that regardless. But if you prevent that experience for anybody else, that's a problem.
Gotcha. No, there you go. And then Amy, anything you want to put out to the world, let everybody know?
No, just my usual. IG is my main. What am I doing? Shades of Despair on Instagram, and then my website, www.abyssicreveries.com for my art.
And then I'm CKT, Christopher Key Tyler. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube. I got some new stuff coming around the corner with TikTok. I think we have a staycation coming up. We're going to be doing a lot of content farming or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be fun.
Where are we going?
Yeah, we want to go to Disneyland, honestly.
Really,
yeah, we're working on a trip there. But and then we have a lot of comedy entertainment shows. This Saturday this is going to come out after Saturday, but it's just
last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. We're doing our first ever Crow Fights, where it's a roast battle format, with Bobby Ulrich will be closing it out with 20 to 25 minute headlining spot. He's on the judges panel with Peter and myself. And then all these Crow Fights or competitors will be, whoever wins will have a slot for the semifinals, and in the semifinals later this year or possibly after January, will lead into the finals at Comedy Fest 2025. So we'll have a new segment. We'll have the comedy competition will still be there, but we'll also have a separate medal, gun-medaled color, for the finalist winner for Crow Fights. And then
loser has to get a tattoo.
Yeah, of the crow.
Comedy entertainment.
Yeah.
Just a sad
You're
crow.
branded. If you get a sad crow, it's got to be right here by your eyeball.
A little
tiny
crow.
crow.
I think I'll probably be the one that gets that. And then we have Crow Fights. We'll have our second Crow Fights with David Rosenberg will be the headliner slot on September 15th, on Sunday, September 15th at Solaris Beer and Blending. So that'll be and we're going to be doing Mason Jar and Mason Jar Brewing Company and Solaris Beer and Blending will be alternating Crow Fights twice a month all the way up until Comedy Fest. So that's a big thing that we're doing right now on top of all the other shows that we're doing. And Peter Marshall is killing it, working really hard, booking shows. If you want to be a part of all of this, send us a message. DM us on Instagram. That's like our spot, but we're on all other social platforms minus Snapchat. We're not.
Hey man, I hooked you up on LinkedIn last week and you never got back to me.
I'm like, no, that you were talking to a poser. yeah, they didn't spell comedy correctly. KAW. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thank you, George.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
It's a great conversation. Thank you.
We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Subscribe and look in the description. And if you like all this stuff, you can have it too. It'll help us out greatly. Take it easy.
Love you. Bye.
We put the comedy.
Hey, it's KAWmedy Krow here. Thanks for watching that whole episode. That was a lot of fun. Pretty weird stuff. We got more stuff for you if you click all these other links. Check them out. It's really neat. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Bye.